Welcome back once again, Vault Dwellers. Today we are at the Starlight Drive In movie theater, or as I have dubbed it, Cinema City. I know a lot of people end up building cities here because it's a nice big wide open space, and I kind of followed suit. Mine's got its own little unique twist, of course, which we will discover soon. I kind of modeled mine a little bit after New York City, and as we get inside and start to explore, you'll begin to understand why. So right out here, we have our front entrance. We've got a couple of houses kind of built into the gate for no other reason than I thought it looked pretty neat. We have our big Nuka Cherry sign, which is all lit up, and as you'll see at the end of the video when we do a quick little nighttime tour, it looks amazing. It's one of my favorite things about this location. So let's go ahead and head inside and take a look. So yeah, a couple of houses here built into the front gate. I didn't really do much for decorating in them. Mostly just a bed or two in most of the places. I decided to kind of put a tree in here with a little walkway that surrounds it as well. And got a little guy in there that we're taking a peek at. But yeah, I didn't feel like really fully decorating them because I wanted to spend more time on some of the other buildings, and you'll see why as we get into it. So with this, I kind of modeled it, like I said, a little bit after New York City. And what I mean by that is that I built a grid system for the roads. If you've ever been to Boston, the roads are not this well organized. They are an atrocious mess. I decided that I wanted to kind of do something a little different and built an entire grid system. I used wood floors, 2 wide, and made a whole bunch of roads and blocks to kind of model it, like I said, after New York City. And as you can see, we've got a nice little look right there. So let's go ahead and take a tour and head down some of these roads. Excuse me. So right here at the main entrance, as you see, we have our Drumlin Diner. This is a nice little place that serves drinks, food, so on and so forth. Some nice colorful lighting going around the entire place. A couple attendants in there. And right behind it, we have the Super Duper Mart. So let's go ahead and take a look inside here.
Yes?
And as we lucked out, they are open. So inside, we have a nice little clinic, store for rent. They also sell clothing here. All kinds of goods, food, so on and so forth. So we've got a full-on Super Duper Market because they sell everything. Excuse me. So right here in front, I decided to use these modular buildings and kind of build a little security command post right here along the front. This is kind of fun. I've never built with these things before. They do not snap together, so that was a little bit challenging to get them to line up as good as they are. And for the most part, I got them in there. For the walls, I built spikes. We have shipping containers. There's also junk walls. And all kinds of random spots, which I'll point out as we go along. I kind of wanted to throw a little hodgepodge of everything in there, just kind of make it look like this place was just slammed together, and kind of succeeded. So this is a fun little thing I decided to do when I was trying to connect all these walkways. This ended up being too tall, so I ended up creating this little dip down so you can actually walk down without bonking your head to get from one side to the other. And so headed down this way, we have our community garden, community greenhouse, whatever you want to call it. Typical stuff inside. This is the plants that feed the entire place. This is also part of a mod that gives not only full shelves, but full tables. And in this case, we have a bunch of gardening and so on and so forth stuff that can be used. You can't actually pick any of that stuff up. It's just there for show, basically. But so now we can go ahead and take a look at our streets, see our nice little grid work that we have going on. And so yeah, every which way I have basically blocks, as us New Yorkers call them. I'm originally from New York. I did not, as I think I said, decorate every single house. Pretty much every single one has a bed at least, but only a few did I full-on decorate and put a whole bunch of stuff inside, but just usual bare minimums. This is our water plant. A whole bunch of pumps all in unison, connected together, pulling up and filtering water for the community. We have more equipment up here, catwalks that you can use to get through to service the equipment. And on top of this building, I also put a water tower. The water gets pumped up into this big tower here, and then the gravity is used to feed it back down into the community. And so yeah, we have, like I said, streets, roads, whatever you want to call them, going down in each and every way. This house, again, not fully decorated, but give you a basic idea of what some of them look like. If you watch my tutorial video, this house, as well as another one that looks just like it, I used the Place Anywhere tool to build. Those walls do not snap together, so the only way to make them come together and look as good as they do is to use the Place Anywhere tool, which will allow you to kind of bleed them into each other. And in this case, putting a roof on, because there's no way you could actually put a roof on here without using some sort of hack. And I initially designed this one to have just the one floor like the other place, but next to all these other bigger buildings, it just didn't look right, so I ended up adding a second story to it and used the same exact tool, the Place Anywhere tool, to build the second floor as well as the roof. Put them all together and then used a long select to get the whole entire thing all in one shot and then plop it up on top there. And so over here we have another little security tower. This one is actually functioning properly for a change. Usually this guy ends up falling through the floor and just kind of like hangs out down there and stares at nothing, but he's decided to cooperate for the video. Here's another look at the junk fences. So again, like I said, I used kind of a hodgepodge of everything to build this place, to add some security to it. Over here is a nice little extra something I threw in. We have a little lean-to with a bed and campfire and so on and so forth. He's even got his own little curtain for a little bit of privacy. And some more security, more of the walls.
How are you?
Oh, almost ran into you. So with these buildings here, I kind of, you notice they're extremely colorful. I kind of modeled them after the video game Monopoly Streets. If you've never played that game, it is super fun, super addicting. It came out during PlayStation 3 Wii era. It's a lot of fun to play with a group of people and get a couple drinks in you, have some fun, and hopefully not break out into a fight. So again, not every house, like I said, is decorated. This is one of the ones that I spent a lot of time decorating. We got a full kitchen and dining room in here, a little seating area with a little makeshift library. And then up top here we have the master suite. We even got curtains in here. That was kind of fun, a little bit of challenge. Again, the Place Anywhere tool came in very, very handy to get these in. Just because of their collision, a lot of them wouldn't go together like in the corners there. But this one actually came out really, really nice. And so over here we have the Guns and Armor Depot. A couple of guards hanging out here.
Yeah.
There's the owner waxing the table. A couple more guards in here, some uniforms, armor for display. And if you can hear that, a whole bunch of motorcycles are going by my house at this moment. So down here we have armor, and upstairs we have guns and ammo, complete with another guard. These are a mod that give me full shelves filled with all the guns and ammo, so on and so forth, so I don't have to painstakingly put all of this together myself. I can just pick up the shelves and plop them down, and saves a lot of time with decorating and making things look really, really neat. As for the shapes of the houses, no rhyme or reason. I kind of tried to make each and every one as unique as possible. Here's a house with absolutely nothing in it. Again, just had a lot of fun using the grid network, and if you notice, everything is perfectly aligned in every single direction. This one does kind of stick out a little bit, but nothing I can do about that. But that was used, like I said, just using wood floors going too wide, and I made my little street design and just kind of followed with it and attached all the buildings to it to make them all line up perfectly. Back here we have another security booth. This is one of our rear entrances, and right next to it is the community power plant. You have a bunch of fusion reactors all wired in unison, and this actually does provide power to the community. As you can see, it goes to this telephone pole here, which goes outside, which connects to that pole, and that pole ends up eventually connecting to all the lights. So this is powering all the lights to the entire community. Back in here we have a little room for rent. Some more housing for the poor people. This is the Place Anywhere tool that I mentioned earlier. I just forgot to clean that up when getting ready to make the video. And over here we have an armor smith. Let's see if he's in today. Last time I was here, he wasn't. And oh, there he is. He's finally at his desk.
Huh?
So we have a little armor smith shop here. This is all for building and servicing armor. We got a whole bunch of bits and pieces and whatnot. And this again is part of that mod that gives me full shelves. This also designed, the creator designed these and added a bunch of stuff to them. Really, really handy mod, one of my favorites. And then back over here we have the other rear gate. This stupid Brahmin is supposed to be in the cage. I finally penned him in to keep him from wandering because he ends up in all kinds of random places and just annoys the heck out of me. But as you can see, he ended up getting out. So this is the other rear entrance. I marked street lights for basically all the pathways to kind of lead everybody in and towards directions, towards the center of town and the stores and so on and so forth. This is just a little empty shack I never really ended up doing anything with. And so lastly, we're going to take a look at our last ditch security effort here, which I'm sure a lot of people probably end up doing something similar. So let's just head on up to the top of the movie projector screen. And right up here we have the sniper's nest. She is supposed to be holding a sniper rifle, but for whatever reason, whenever I give them a different gun than what they normally spawn with, they just never hold them. But she's got her own bed here, a 360-degree view of the entire community, and she can basically pick off anybody at any time for any reason. And so there you go. This is Cinema City with my sort of makeshift New York City grid street. This gives you an idea of just how big this whole entire community is and how the security walls look around the entire place. And this was a lot of fun to build. This was a little bit of a challenge once I started designing the streets to try to keep everything aligned perfectly and looking as good as it did, and I'm very happy with the outcome. So when we come back in a few seconds, it'll be nighttime, so you can get a chance to look at everything all lit up. Okay, so as you can see, it is now nighttime at the Starlight Drive In theater. So let's go ahead and take a look at the whole city lit up just like I had promised. Now here at the front entrance, this is one of my favorite things, is the Nuka Cherry sign all lit up. I used the modification, gives me all different colored lights, and in this case I went for the obvious, which is red. Such a bright red to really make it pop.
Self-diagnostic complete. I'm happy to report.
So right inside here, now you can see a little bit more of how the lighting grid as well kind of fits in. Got the street lamps going up and down every road and leading down every pathway. Got our signs all lit up as well for the diner as well as the Super Duper Mart. And you can see all the colored lights that I had mentioned before all around the diner here. I do wish they were a little bit brighter, but you know, it is what it is. And so here we can go ahead and take a little aerial view of the whole city all lit up. And again, you can see my grid work here, hard at work. And like I said in the beginning, if you've ever been to Boston, you know their roads are not as well designed as this. It's a huge, huge mess, but this also gives you a chance to kind of see my perimeter wall going around the entire place. Again, like I said in the beginning, I used a little bit of everything to kind of build these walls. Shipping containers, spikes, turrets, just about anything and everything that I could throw in there is in there. So, hope you enjoyed my little tour of Cinema City, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Don't get irradiated.